Dark pitch black rooms are my favourite, so I was upset when there was a window shining light into the room so I could see. Like the sarcasm? I personally was chained up on the ceiling. My feet weren't touching the ground, so the chains were just pulling on my wrists, popping them out of place. The position that Bakugou was in was what confused me. A little. His hands were in a small steel container locked inside. He was still pretty unconscious, with his head leaning against the wall and his hair falling in over his face. I was guessing there was water in there to wash off the nitroglycerin so he couldn't make any explosions. The steel locks were probably just a bigger safety lock to restrain him more. Now, I'm not sure they realised my quirk. I could easily get out of here if I wanted to, but I wanted to make sure Bakugou was awake and understood the plan. Before he could wake himself up, two men with ski masks on walked in and did it for him, pushing his shoulder harshly with a blunt metal rod. They came in through a rusty steel door directly in front of me. "The hell?" he softly mumbled before realising the situation. His eyes shot open and of course he screamed at the guys, "I'll fucking kill you." "Calm down, Bakugou," he spoke in a very low voice. "Now that we have you both, we'd first like to know the future plans of All Might." I laughed, swinging a little. Pretty sure that was the first time Bakugou even realised I was there. "Something funny, Aizawa?" "You do know my quirk, right?" "Yes, and we've taken those safety precautions. We're far away from where you've ever stepped foot or have even seen, and those chains cancel out quirks, except physical ones. Like someone like, let's say, Mashiro Ojiro." He chuckled. "Go ahead, try." I looked at Bakugou, then back at the man again before I tried. The glow from my eyes flickered on the wall for a millisecond before disappearing. "What the hell?" I mumbled. "This type of shit exists?" "You won't be escaping anytime soon, so I think it's in your best interest to share what you know," he started to say as he walked over to me, grabbing my jaw with one hand and squeezing it. "Think about all the plans with All Might, and we'll get back to you. You have 10 minutes. As the man left the room, two keys fell out of his pocket, with a third one threatening to fall. But alas, it stayed. The keys had some sort of protector things on them, so they didn't seem to make noise as they fell. Bakugou and I stayed silent for a few moments after they left, until he spoke up first, still sounding a little pissed off. "They didn't fucking hurt you, did they?" I looked at him and smiled sadly. It dropped right after. "No, Bakugou, I'm fine," I sighed. "Can't believe they have chains that can cancel out quirks. Question, are your hands in water?" Bakugou looked down at the steel box, then back at me. "Yeah, how the hell did you know?" "Go figure," I groaned. "Another question, how far am I from the wall?" "A few inches." I stuck my foot back, hitting the wall in seconds. "What are you doing?" "Wow," I said, turning my body to face the wall, using the chains as I started to climb up it. "You haven't sworn in the 2 sentences. Are you okay?" "Fuck off and tell me what the hell you're doing." I smirked, planting my feet on the ceiling. "There's the cat ski I need." Planting my feet against the ceiling, I stomped against it. After a few tries, I successfully pulled the chains from the ceiling, almost not landing on my feet. Actually, I had to tuck and roll to stop any serious head injuries. When I stood, I turned and smiled at Bakugou, who was just staring. His eyebrows were raised a little, but a smirk appeared on his face. "Did you see this?" I asked, walking near the door where the very unprofessional villain had dropped 2 keys. "Fucking bastards," Bakugou mumbled under his breath. I picked up the keys and walked over to Bakugou, unlocking the lock that held together the steel. The top of it split in half, and Bakugou was able to get his hands out. I tried the other key on my chains, but it didn't work. Then I tried the same key I used for Bakugou's, but, the fuck? I mumbled. Bakugou, I need you to do something. Bakugou looked up from his wrists as he rubbed them back and forth. Explode these chains off. Bakugou scoffed. You're shitting me, right? Just control it. Just control it? Who the hell do you think I am? Katsuki Bakugou, if you don't blow these fucking chains off, then I will tell everyone you wore jeans. Not only that, but I won't ever fucking make you breakfast ever again. I got up in his face and whispered as I rolled up the jacket sleeves, because I know when I made it at your house you were in love with the food. Bakugou stayed silent, but hesitantly he reached up and grabbed the chains at my wrist. You realise that I've never fucking tried to control my explosions this intensely before, since I don't get this close to anybody. I don't want to hurt during battle. I could hurt you. I don't care. If it makes you feel better, then I'll try to enable my quirk right when you do. It'll only take a few seconds, but it could make me immune to the instant pain. Bakugou and I made eye contact, staring at each other. There was a look on his face I've never seen before. He wasn't evilly grinning or smirking like he usually would be, but he wasn't completely upset looking like he was during our first test of the school year. It was somewhere in the middle between worried, scared, and wanting to blast the whole fucking building to rubble. We're running out of time, Katsuki. Pretend I'm Midoriya or something. Bakugou's face went sour. I'm not fucking doing that. Then I started to say as I held my arms out more. Blow up, I said, leaning in his face and popping the P. Bakugou took a deep breath. On 1, 3, 2, 1. I enabled my quirk right as Bakugou set off his explosion. The chains cracked, falling off to the ground. My quirk didn't last and still ended up turning off. Right away I felt a hot, sizzling pain on my wrists. I kneeled down, sucking in through my teeth. Ow, fuck! YN? Bakugou quickly kneeled down, grabbing my hands above my wrist to look at the damage he had done. Fuck. I told you I shouldn't. Katsuki, if you don't shut the hell up and unlock that door to get us out of here, then I might actually kill you, I said, placing my forehead on his. I'm fine. Bakugou sighed, grabbed the key from my pocket, and unlocked the door. He looked back and forth down the hallway before looking at me to wave me over. I stood up and walked over to him, placing a hand on his shoulder to glitch us down the hallway. Quickly, I glitched us through the hallway. When I couldn't find the fucking exit, I stayed in the split world, searching around through the walls until I could find it. Right when I found it, I glitched in front of the door and swung it open, almost falling down the stairs from the amount of stamina I used. Though I didn't. A hand gripped onto the back of Bakugou's jacket, pulling me to my feet. Bakugou's arm wrapped around my waist to hold me up. Sorry, little dizzy, I mumbled, placing one hand on his shoulder and another on my head. Give me a second, Bakugou. I slipped into the tear, looking around with a hope I could find somewhere to teleport to with what little stamina. There was a nearby area. It was a store I had visited a few times that had some foreign candy, but I barely had enough to teleport me, especially since I was using a lot to stay in the tear, so I definitely couldn't teleport Bakugou and I left the tear not teleporting anywhere, to which I think I scared Bakugou, because I had just appeared out of nowhere, gripping onto his shoulder when I got back. YN? The hell? His arms protectively wrapped back around my waist. My whole body was shaking. Bakugou didn't hesitate to pick me up and start walking down the stairs. Shut up. Bakugou looked behind him when he heard the front door to the place swing open. He groaned a little bit, mumbling swear words underneath his breath, and started to run down the alleyway, trying his best to dodge attacks that were being thrown at him. I saw one that couldn't dodge and quickly glitched ahead, almost making Bakugou lose his sprint. Don't fucking do that without warning, Bakugou yelled, running round a corner. Sorry, I just didn't want a knife in your back. Bakugou sighed, running into an empty building and heading up the stairs. He set me down by a wall, carefully, walking to the window and pushing the torn, stained curtains to the side to look out the window. We lost them, Bakugou mumbled. What's up with him? You're different, I said, causing Bakugou to look at me. The fuck are you talking about? Normally you'd be like, let me fucking kill those bastards, I yelled in a whisper. But you're not now. What's different? Bakugou let out a deep breath and looked back out the window. I don't fucking know. I slowly stood up to look at what Bakugou was looking at. He stared at the empty street. What's wrong? We were just kidnapped. I can't be a little fucking upset. I slipped my hand off his shoulder with a sad smile and headed towards the stairs. Fair point, let's go. Wait, Bakugou said, rummaging through the stuff in the room. He grabbed a scarf and ripped it in half. Come here. I walked up to him and I was a little hesitant. Hold out your arms, wrists up. With a sigh, I held up my wrists to see the stinging, burning, bleeding skin. It's fine. It's not fucking fine, damn it. Bakugou wrapped one of the halves around my wrist, tightly tying it, and did the same on the other. I fucking hurt you. I leaned up and wrapped my arms around him, pulling him into a hug. It's fine. I promise, I whispered. Bakugou's arms wrapped around me, which kind of surprised me, and his chin rested on my shoulder. What kind of hero hurts people? You saved us, Bakugou. I pulled away, my hands running down his arms to hold his hands. Let's go. Bakugou and I made our way to the little store I had found. Actually, I glitched us there, thinking it wasn't that far away. In reality, it was. I almost fell on my knees. Well, I would have if it wasn't for Bakugou. As I spat out a small amount of blood to the side. I brushed it off, feeling myself weak. But I told Bakugou it was alright. When we made it into the store, we borrowed the phone and called Shota, who was just filled with worry. That was sarcastic. He wasn't too worried. Actually, he said we took too long to get out. Shota had sent out his Ashi to come to pick us up and bring us to the house, so we could both get talked to by the police and whatever. We hung out in the store in the meantime, looking at all the candy and foreign foods. Are you going to get something? Bakugou asked, as he stood behind me. He made sure to always stay close next to me, and every few moments he would reach towards me, scared that I was going to fall. One time I almost did fall, and my eyes started to close, but the feeling of Bakugou's arms wrapping around my waist to hold me made my eyes fly open. They took all of our stuff. I don't have any money. I turned to face him and leaned my head against his shoulder. I'm tired. Bakugou's arms didn't leave my waist, and I thought it would after he realised I gained my balance, but it didn't move. Let's go. I'm sure our ride is here. Bakugou was right, and Hisashi was waiting in his little yellow car. Honestly, adorable. Give me the back seat. I want to pass out. Bakugou chuckled a little, opening the back door and moved his hand from my waist to hold my hand to help me in. He closed the door and hopped in the front seat. Katsuki Bakugou. I set my arm against the door and leaned my head on my hand, looking out the window. Looking in the mirror, I could see YN laying in the back seat, sound asleep. Seeing her sent a weird, stupid fucking girly feeling in my stomach. I deeply exhaled and looked back out the window. Bakugou. I slowly looked over at Present Mike, who sat driving in the front seat. The hell do you want? He just chuckled, taking a quick glance at me, and then back at the road. Getting a little close to YN there, huh? There was a smirk on his face. A warm feeling crawled up to my cheeks, and I turned my head, as if I couldn't turn my head any further towards the window. Nothing? Shut the hell up, she's my friend. From what I've seen in class, you're not the type to make friends and get close with people. The hell are you talking about? I'm just saying, Bakugou. I know you know it too.